everyone, it's Sami from Sami's Sweet Life, and today is day 11. Now, there are landscapers working in the house next door, and I hear them talking every once in a while. We're going to pretend like that's not happening, and I'm going to open up our Colorverse Inkvent. This is day 11, so we're right up here. Let's see what we've got. Ooh, another really pretty blue. This is called DaVinci Glow. DaVinci Glow is inspired by the phenomenon where light reflected from the earth, also known as earthshine, illuminates the outline of the moon. So that one should be really nice. It's just a nice little medium blue shade there. And today I have already pre-recorded, actually today and the next few days, I've already recorded the inner portion of these videos. They are fountain pen videos. So I have done a favorites list. I've also done mini reviews for all of the fountain pens that I have gotten. I have 5, so I've got 5 separate little reviews coming up the next few days. Also a fountain pen faves video, like what I don't like about each pen, and then mini reviews for each one. So that's going to be the next 6 Vlogmas days. I will sprinkle some other stuff here and there. I'm going to film some of these swatches today to get them ready to go, and I can get all of them kind of batch edited. But it should be a really fun rest of the week, getting all of the fountain pen goodness. Yeah, love my fountain pens. I've been in this hobby since about fall of last year, so about a year. I feel like I kind of know what I'm doing. Not entirely, but for the most part, I know what I'm doing with the fountain inks. We will swatchy swatch on these guys, and I've got to refill pens sometime today, so I will work on that so I can do the written little pieces there. And that's pretty much it. Today we're just going to Inkvent. I will do the Advent clips separately because John is actually in a meeting right now, so I can't go down and get my gingerbread stuff right now. So I can only do this swatchy swatch right now. This chair is driving me crazy. All right, let's see. What color do we want here? Just going to grab one. I've got Wearingeul, the Nightingale, and the Rose. So it's like a, looks like a brownish color with some rose goldy looking shimmer on there. So I don't know how well those colors are going to coordinate today. I'm adjusting, so the chair might squeak again. Let's swatch these, roll up my sleeve, and get these ones done. And then I will pop in at the end and show you guys what they look like when they're all the way dried. Get this one swirl in. I like all of these Wearingeul colors. They're all, I don't know, Wearingeul is one that I really like. I like Colorverse, Wearingeul, Diamine, Robert Oster. Those are my typical like favorite inks. They always just are really consistent and beautiful. I think Wearingeul has really nice shimmers. Also Robert Oster and Diamine and Colorverse all have really nice shimmers too. Okay, let's swirl these. It looks very brownish. I have to get a different bottle. This one has a little like a lump in the middle. It makes it really hard to smooth out the ink. To like turn it side to side. I'm excited to see the shimmer pop up in that, since the shimmer's a little bit different color. And then we've got DaVinci Glow. It's the Colorverse, day 11. Excited to dive into this and see what it looks like. It's always hard to tell when it's a printed label, so it will look different as actual ink. It looks very blue and pretty, like a dusty blue so far with just the tip of that. Oh yeah, nice dusty looking lightish blue. I'll be interested to see how that one writes because it is on the lighter side of things, but very pretty. There you go. So we will let those dry down a little bit. And today we're going to hop into the first of the fountain ink videos. And this one is where I am ranking all 5 of my fountain pens. So I've got 5 different ones. I have clear favorites and clear not favorites. And I will talk about them in today's video. I went into this video not having a list like made up in my head, so I don't have it like written out. But I figured it out by the end. We're gonna walk through, I'm gonna rank them all for you in today's clip. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Let's go ahead and hop into it. Today we are kicking off Fountain Pen Week on my Vlogmas. I will have snippets of vlogs sprinkled out throughout these. Today I'm going to rank my pens, which I have thought a little bit about, but I don't have them exactly how I want to divvy them up. I went ahead and wrote out samples, so I will have individual reviews of each pen, but I'm going to rank them today, like favorite to least favorite on my list, and they are not in order on this paper. So first up, the TWSBIs have my heart. They are my favorite, bar none. I could totally just get away with TWSBIs, and even just TWSBI Ecos, I could totally just get away with these. Like, give me one of these in every pretty rainbow color and I'm set. I like their writing. All of my nibs I purchased are medium nibs, but each brand has their own version of medium. So a medium nib in a certain configuration is going to be different from a medium nib in the other. And I feel like these are the most true mediums. Same with the Lamy. I find that they have thicker medium tips, and I like that. I like a bold point. I like a 0.7 ink versus like a 0.38 or a 0.4 or a 0.5. 0.7, totally my jam. So I like the thicker, juicier nib action. And you'll see, I'm zooming in a little bit for you guys. You can see the TWSBIs are much thicker. The Lamy is also thick. These two have a lot less medium of a point. So they are my least two favorite just because of the finickiness of them. I have not had a single issue with most of my pens. I find the thinner the tip, the more likely shimmers and things would have issues, but I haven't had a whole lot of issues altogether. I'll talk in one of my videos about one of my pens being a little bit finicky. I'll talk about that more in the video, but as far as top faves, TWSBI. And like, as far as price pointing, you know, we're dealing with a 30-ish price point pen versus an 85-ish price point pen. I don't find that much better quality or writing experience. It's just about the being pretty in my point of view. I do like the clear cap in that I can see my pretty nib, but that's, I mean, I got this because it's rainbow. Like, legit, that's the only reason why I picked this up. If a TWSBI Eco had been in rainbow titanium oxide metal, I would have totally gotten a TWSBI Eco versus the diamond. So I don't know that I care much about how different they are aesthetically, aside from the, you know, the colorfulness. The tips are both fine. The writing, where you hold it's both fine. They fill up the same way. They're piston fillers. And I just don't see much difference. Like writing quality, I haven't noticed any difference. Maybe I'm just not a pen snobby enough pen snob. But yeah, same difference. It's really like what you like aesthetically. I haven't noticed any big difference. You know, we're talking a $50 price point difference. I could have 2.5 of these versus one of these. I don't know that you're getting that much value out of the pen aside from it looking real pretty. Not gonna lie, that one looks real pretty with all that rainbow. So I got it for the rainbow, but I would totally get away with these. If I purchase another pen, it's probably going to be one of these unless it's a pretty have-to-have pen. And now that I have quite a few pretty pens, I don't feel the need for that necessarily, but I do want me some of those like rose gold TWSBIs or the bronze TWSBI Ecos. There's a lot of these really pretty. Price point and quality-wise, I feel like you can't beat it. And I have these two in my top favorites also because they are just piston fillers. I love being able to see the ink, but it's so much easier than cartridge converters for me. It holds so much more ink, which is a positive and negative if you're dealing with ink samples. It's kind of awesome to not have to fill your pen up quite frequently because these ones hold a ton of ink. So top two, and then the TWSBI Eco being my top one because price point, you just can't beat it. And now, as far as the next pen down, I'm gonna go Lamy. I did not love the pen clip. I don't necessarily think they're the most beautiful pens, but I feel like the writing experience is really nice. This has a triangular grip, which is nice. This one also has the black hardware, which is nice. And I just all around really like this. It is a cartridge converter, so that would be like one of the downsides. Cartridge converter, and I'm almost out of ink. I'm like scraping the bottom of the barrel with the ink that's left in that one. But I like this one because it hasn't given me any sort of trouble whatsoever, and it's a nice thick juicy stripe stroke there. Nice pen. You also can see a little bit with that little window, which I don't tend to care about so much, but just a pretty pen. This happens to be the autumn pink edition, so like a nice metallic beautiful pink. Next on my list, it's a toss-up between these two. I just don't love, like head over heels, love these pens. So I personally would not recommend either one of these pens unless you like the look of the pen. As far as performance, they're both fine, but I've had a lot of trouble with this narwhal. Certain inks just do not perform well in this narwhal. It's gorgeous. This is a special edition. It was a Pride Collection pen, and it is, again, the rainbow metallic. It's the titanium oxide coated metallic. Just gorgeous. The sparkliness of this pen, absolutely gorgeous. It's a stunner. Writing wise, if I put a shimmer in this one, it's gonna give me trouble like half the time. And it's, again, a cartridge converter. So that's all fine and good. But again, cartridge converter, not my favorite type of pen. It's gorgeous. Like, of all of my pens, this is one of the most beautiful pens that I do have. It is feeling like kind of short. That's another thing. I guess it's not super short. Just, I don't know, it seems kind of short. Like the hair shortest. Like, look, it's not that much shorter, but it definitely feels a little shorter. It feels like a nice quality pen. It writes really nicely when it writes, but sometimes it gets clogged up. Unfortunately, it's so shimmery and beautiful. I want to put shimmers in it, but I've had the most pen issues with this one. And I say the most because I haven't had pen issues with any of the other pens. None whatsoever as far as writing, but this one, it just does not write. If there's like a drier ink, some inks just are a little bit drier, this one will have trouble. So I find this to be my finicky pen, and I would not repurchase it. Honestly, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful to look at. I do like it a lot, but I've had staining in the cap. Like, I've dropped it a few times and ink has splattered in the cap. That's stained now with some of that purple. I've tried to like scrub it out with a little scrubby brush. Some of that's gonna be permanent. It just doesn't look the greatest right there with that part. And it's just finicky. It's a finicky pen. So I probably won't purchase another Narwhal pen. And I would not repurchase this one had I known what I know now. It's just, you know, my finicky pen. Like, as far as price point wise, I actually had the wrong thing here. It's only in the $50 price point. I've seen it anywhere from like 51 to 57, but still the same sentiment holds true about the price point. So I rant about it just a little bit in the next clip, but it's still true. I don't want to have any kind of trouble with something I spend that much money on. I don't want to have trouble writing with an $80 pen. You know how many pens I could buy for 80 bucks? Like regular gel pens? I could buy tons of pens. So for that to be the price point and me to have issues with it here and there, having trouble writing, it's just, you know, not my jam. Like, I like this one. It's a $30 pen. You write really nicely with it. It writes every single time, no matter what. No problems whatsoever. Why would I purchase an $80 pen versus a $32 pen? You know, that's my mindset. Like, give me the $32 pen that's going to write consistently every single time versus one that's going to be a little more finicky. But again, gorgeous pen. It's probably my prettiest of all the pens. So it is one that I'm like, oh, but it's so shiny. But shiny only gets you so far when the pen legit sometimes does not work because whatever ink is not compatible with the pen. So, you know, that's a downer for me. And then last but not least, this would be my second to last favorite. This would be my ultimate last favorite. The Sheaffer 100 Coffee Edition. This one is my shorty. I feel like he's, I don't know, his nib is a little short. This was my other shorty pen. And he's a touch shorter than this one, see? So like when I'm dealing with an Eco being quite long, like that I feel like is a normal size pen. I felt like the Narwhal was a little short. Well, this guy's even shorter. And he's also a much skinnier barrel. So I don't like the writing experience quite as much because it is a little bit skinnier. And I find that the grip on this one is metallic. So I do tend to, like, when I get really into writing, you know, my hands get all clammy and whatever, my hand does slip down this one a little tiny bit. So it's not the greatest, like most comfortable grip because my hand will slide down a little bit further, which gets annoying. So as far as looks, this one also a gorgeous pen. It's got the rose gold or bronzy gold. I don't know that it's true rose gold. I don't have a rose gold one to compare to it, but it looks like bronzy. It looks coffee. And the idea of it is like the lightest color of coffee all the way down to a black coffee. So you got the gradient, it's beautiful. It's just a skinny mini and a little bit shorter than I would like. But again, beautiful pen. It's got the little coffee logo on there. And I do like the closures of this one and the Lamy. They're the just pressure snap closure versus a twist. But he's a skinny mini. It just does not feel as nice. It's not as significant in my hand. But it's pretty. Haven't had a single writing issue with this one, although the stroke is a little bit skinnier. Like I said, the TWSBI's and the Lamy medium point, much thicker than the Narwhal and the Sheaffer medium points. So that was why I put it below the other ones, because it's a little bit skinnier, but it's not quite as skinny as the Narwhal, and it also has not had any pen issues. This is legit the only pen I've had any ink compatibility issues with, which that's a thing. Like if you're in a fountain pen world, you can have some compatibility issues with the ink versus pens. And I know that like people will review their currently inked and they're like, this was not compatible with this ink. It's like, I don't want to have to play guessing games. Like I don't want to have to play magical potions to figure out like which pen and ink combo is going to work. I just want it to effing work, you know? So I get really caught up with that. Like I'm not going to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars for a pen that won't freaking work with any ink I want to put in it, right? Like that's just mind-boggling to me. I'm gonna get really crazy and ranty, but that just is mind-boggling to me. None of my pens are over $100. Like every pen is like 85 bucks and lower. And I just cannot fathom spending hundreds of dollars. Like these go up to the thousands of dollars. I cannot fathom spending that kind of money to not have my ink work every freaking time in the pen. Like I'm a bit miffed that my $85 pen doesn't work with every single stinking ink, right? Like I just want it to work. So I get really ranty about that. So anyway, the other four I haven't had a single problem with. This one, finicky. That's why he's on the bottom, just for the sake that it's finicky. But you can see the line variation. They're all medium nibs, but the line variation is pretty significant. If you're looking at, you know, the Narwhal and Sheaffer versus the TWSBI's or the Lamy, like it's definitely a different thickness. So just keep that in mind, you know, mediums are not always going to be equal across the board. So that's my pen ranking. The TWSBI Eco wins for me. Just a basic, great budget-friendly pen, beginner-friendly. Every ink I've ever put in it has been perfect. Never had an issue. TWSBI Diamond, if you want a little bit fancier of a pen, is also a really great option. And this one is gorgeous. I just love the colorful, like that tip. Ooh, the little rainbow on the end. So pretty. Also the Lamy, great pen. This one's more of like your basic starter price pen as well. So I would say it's a great price point for a starter pen. The grip's really nice, especially if you're just figuring out like how you're going to be holding the fountain pens, because you do have to hold them a little bit at a different angle. You can't just write any direction. It has to be like held at a 45-degree angle. So that might help you if you're a beginner. Just a great option. And if you want something a little bit fancier looking or a little bit higher price point, both of these are gorgeous pens. Not gonna lie. This is sparkly, so I could look at this all day, guys. Like, ooh, sparkly. But yeah, not my favorite pens, these two. Just for the various things I said. But if you know, you want a skinnier pen, like I have giant hands, guys. Like I need a giant pen. Like all these other thicker pens feel much nicer in my hands than this skinny mini. But if you have very delicate, smaller hands, you might want a smaller pen, you know? Some of these thicker pens, they might not be as comfortable if you're writing a lot. So it might be beneficial for a lot of people that don't have giant hands. I also have giant feet, by the way. I wear size 11 shoes, so like I've got big hands. I want a big old pen. Anyway, I hope you guys liked my little pen ranking. This is the ranking down the list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hope you guys liked it. This was kind of, you know, got a little ranty, got a little silly, but I do love my fountain pens and definitely want more of these guys. I've got quite a few of the Ecos on my list actually to purchase after the new year, after Christmas. I might be purchasing me a couple more of these guys. And there's one that's coming out actually December 13th. There's like a swirly looking teal one. I'm totally getting it, guys. There you go. There is my pen review. I will have individual reviews talking about each pen coming up. I want to give each pen its little moment. And so there you go. Hope you guys liked it. Let's look at dry swatches. We'll look at yesterday first. I went ahead and used the dip pen to write in the writing, and these colors are so similar. This one happens to be a little bit greener. The Colorverse Aquarius Whispers is a touch greener. This one happens to be a touch more blue. So they're very, very similar, very medium tones. They both write beautifully, and I really like both of these. You get just the hair sheening or dark edging around it. It's so pretty. I love the way both of these write. You just get that little bit of variation in the stroke when you're writing, and it's just beautiful. So that was yesterday's, and then let's look at today's. This one is so interesting to me. I can't wait to see like bigger samples of this. I'll use it in my journal, but I love it. Has this little like grayish tone to it. You can see a ton of color variation in the swatch itself, but the writing, I'm not picking up a ton of that brown. It's just enough brownish color to make it look really dusty and kind of frosty. I would have loved to see this one also include a shimmer, because there's not any shimmer in here, but it really has that effect with that almost like two-toned look. The strokes don't look very dramatic in a small sample, but I see a lot of color variation. So it's really neat. I want to see a bigger sample of these because that one is really cool. And then this one, the Nightingale and the Rose, it just has the most beautiful shimmer on it. It's just such a beautiful brown. That one is probably up there in one of my all-time favorites with a pinky, rose goldy shimmer with a brown ink that's just gorgeous. Absolutely stunning, gorgeous color. That one honestly will end up probably among my top favorite colors of all time. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful, scrumptious brown. So I'm so happy with both of these colors for today and the colors for yesterday. Let's go ahead and open. I was able to sneak down. Ooh, this one sounds like a shaker keychain. So last year, the girls stole my keychains from the Advent. Each one of them ended up with one of them on their backpacks. And I think right now, at least one lives on a backpack still. So here is a little cute shaker. It's a gingerbread house inside of a snow globe. It's so cute. And so I will peel off the wrapper and probably stick these on backpacks. I'm pretty sure these kids are gonna take my little snow globes, but very beautiful. And there is some snow in there, shaking it up, little snow pieces, which is super cute, sliding back and forth. So that is a great little Advent goodie. I love their little shaker keychains and things, super cute. And that is going to wrap up today's video. I hope you guys are excited about Fountain Pen Week. I have really wanted to get these little reviews together for you guys. I'm no expert by any means, but I definitely have a thing or two to say about the pens that I do own, and I hope you guys liked today's video. I'll be back the next 5 days. It'll be batch filmed, but it's going to be reviewing each pen individually and talking about the good and bad. So stay tuned for that. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow me along, and I'll be back with more Vlogmas. Have a great day, guys. Bye!